Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to, I guess, kind of sort of episode 0 of Shattered Planets. Now, if you guys have been following my channel for a while, you might be familiar with Grave of Man, which this is part of. This is the sequel series to the Grave of Man campaign. Things happened during the last campaign that kind of necessitated a switch over and kind of, not a reboot, but this is kind of the largely associated sequel, and so everything that happened in the previous episode necessitated this switch over. So we're going from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition to Pathfinder this time around, which should be kind of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's got some neat new systems, some of which I might actually just establish as permanent health rules, house rules, from now on. And, some things that, might be carried over from 5th edition. We'll see. Stuff like advantage and whatnot, I might try and wriggle in somehow. But we'll figure that out as we go along. But so if you're joining us for the very first time, I would highly recommend going back to watch Grave of Man. There's a lot there. There's a lot there that will be carried over into this campaign, but there's also going to be a lot of new stuff. So, if you don't have the time to go back and watch Grave of Man, that's okay, because ultimately they're going to be fairly similar series, and I'm going to try my hardest to make it as accessible for everybody as possible. And so, if you were a fan of the previous campaign, you'll see some characters show back up. And honestly, if you haven't seen it, they'll probably get reintroduced, because we have a 4th party member joining us now. Obviously, if you're a fan of my channel, we've got a friend Durf, who's been, kind of getting further enmeshed with our group over the past year, and we decided to bring him on as a permanent cast member for this series. At least until his character blows up and he decides he wants nothing to do with Starfinder anymore, but that's okay. So he will be joining us here, which I guess is a good segue into this video. So this is going to be episode 0, kind of an introduction into some of the mechanics from Starfinder. We're gonna have a lot more as we go along, but so for this video I'm going to be going over Durf's character sheet and, what some of the mechanical differences are between 5th edition and Starfinder, and how Durf's character specifically works, and just some neat little bits and bobs there. And, I'm joined by everybody, and we're just going to kind of hang out and talk, because this is their first introduction to Starfinder as well, and I figured everybody could use a primer. So I guess without further ado...
Alrighty.
So I guess actually before we begin, I should probably give a quick crash course on Starfinder, and I might put this up as a separate video or whatever. I'm just going to go over the basic character sheet, because there a couple of things have changed since 5th edition, and I might as well just kind of go through them if you guys are fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So stats are largely the same. The bonuses are still handled the same. There are minor differences, but pretty much all the same. I guess for anybody that's never seen this before, specifically Durf, you have 6 stats. Strength, which is brawny. Dexterity, kind of your quickness, your agility. Constitution, how tough you are. Intelligence, how smart you are. Wisdom, how to not make dumb decisions. And charisma, how cute and adorable you are. And so each of these affect various things. If you want to lift something heavy, if you want to dodge a fireball, if you want to, shrug off poison, if you want to think your way through a brain teaser, see if somebody's lying to you, or if you want to lie to somebody. That's what all those stats kind of do. So you have two things that matter: your total and your mod. Your total is what your stat is. So, Durf, I'm looking at your character. You have a strength of 12. That means your character is slightly stronger than the average human. And what that corresponds to is, if you notice to the right, your 12 corresponds to a mod 1. The formula, and you're probably going to forget this, is stat minus 10 divided by 2, and then rounded down. So 12 minus 10, 2, divided by 2, 1, don't need to round. It's best to keep your stats even, because it saves you a lot of thinking if you're bad at rounding.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm losing you. It's fine. You'll figure it out eventually. This is one of those where the sheet does it for you. Luckily, if you just click on the strength die there, it'll just roll it for you. So you don't really need to think about that until you level up. at which point we can go over this again. Okay, so that's your basic ability scores. But these will come up frequently. Now, moving over to the right, this is where things kind of change a little bit. So before this, we started on 5th edition. 5th edition had completely different setup. I'm not going to go into how that worked, because not everybody saw that or was aware of the mechanics. So let's just go through the columns. So the first column is HP and SP. So Starfinder introduces a new mechanic called SP, Stamina Points, which is a secondary health bar. You have 2. Your stamina is kind of your on-the-go energy, dodging shots, near misses, stuff like that. So when you take SP damage, you're not actually taking a hit. It means your character has lost energy in avoiding or shrugging off the blow. You can think of it however you want. But what it means is, during combat, you have a whole second health bar that you can expend without consequences, because after 10 minutes, it all comes right back. So you can just sit down for a breather and not go into the next fight with only 12 HP. So specifically Bird, that's good for you, probably.
Yep.
But so what HP does is it's your more traditional health. It doesn't come back very fast, and it represents real wounds that your character has taken, and it takes a lot longer for those to heal. So generally, you want to only lose SP if you can. But I mean, what can you do?
Wait, this is under health and resolve, right?
Yeah.
Mine are set to 0?
Your current is. So what you want to do is just bop them up. I'll do it for you now. But so when you take damage, I say Durf, you got hit by a laser shot, you take 10 damage, you subtract 10 damage from your SP.
Okay.
And then when you have no more SP, then you start subtracting from your HP. Now, the one thing I will say is your character actually has a shield generator, so you have a little bit extra. Also, resolve points are something new. I don't know how they work. I'm just...
You spend a resolve point to recover all of your stamina points.
Oh,
It also takes 10 minutes, so
How
they're
much
basically
resolve
hit
do
die.
we have?
I was gonna actually just say you don't have to spend resolve on healing.
Oh, okay.
And you can just use resolve on the more interesting features. Probably. This is going to be kind of informal. I will say, remember the SP system, because no matter what game we play, I'm probably going to keep the SP system in it.
Okay.
Because it is so much more interesting than traditional systems, where you have to sit around for 10 hours and wait and heal. Okay, so back up to that classroom information. So class name is whatever class you are. Durf, you're a mechanic. Base attack bonus is different. So base attack bonus is when you hit something, that is the base bonus that you use as like a 2-hit thing. So say you want to shoot somebody with your gun, you roll 1 die 20, then you add your base attack bonus plus whatever the relevant stat is. So right now you're level 12, your base attack bonus is 9. So say if you want to shoot somebody with your pistol, it's a 1 die 20 plus 9 plus an additional 3 for your dexterity. And so that goes up according to your level. And so in your case, it's three quarters
Isn't that
your level.
calculated automatically in a shot? Or no?
Yes. So Durf, you don't have to worry about it. I'm just explaining what it is.
Oh, okay, thank God.
Yeah, if you guys go all the way
That's-
down to the bottom, you can actually add weapons and spells and all sorts of things. So Durf just shot. Just by pressing that button. Real easy. Okay, skill ranks are kind of self-explanatory. 5th edition used a proficiency system slash whatever that bonus was. This one is a little weirder. Instead of just adding like a basic bonus to all of the skills that you have a pool of points. So if you wanted to be like a complete jack of all trades and spend a little bit of skill points here and there, so your character is good at jumping, bluffing, everything, you can. Or you can, spend them all in a couple of places. So every skill can have ranks up to your current character level. Oh, which I should probably drop Durf down. He's not level 13, he's level 12. I forgot. But so say if you really want to like max out your fisherman profession, which you have, then you put all 12 points in, and you are you just rolled a 28 in fishing. So that's kind of how skills work. I can get into it more later. But then after that,
Okay.
the other major difference for everybody else and for you is Fortitude, Reflex, and Will. These are very important stats. So these are often the only things that you will roll apart from attacking and skills. So say if somebody casts like a mind control spell on you, that is where you'll respond with a will save. Luckily, you can just scroll down. There will be a section on your character sheet called Fort, Reflex, and Will. And so say if somebody's trying to mind control you, you just hit the will button, it rolls for you, does all the math, you don't have to worry about it. Unfortunately, you rolled a 10, you're now mind controlled. Tough.
Oh.
But so usually I will ask you, or I'll say like, you are being hit by blank, roll a blank save. So you are being hit by a fireball, roll a reflex save to dodge it.
Okay.
Or, a grenade rolls to your feet, roll a reflex save to dive out of the way. So all you have to do really is just respond to my query with your answer, a basic roll. Super easy. And that's it for basic class information. We've already gone over health, kind of. Armor class. There is a slight difference here. Armor class is... There are two now, because Starfinder introduces energy weapons, so laser pistols, plasma pistols, so on and so forth. So you have two types of armor. You have energy armor class and kinetic armor class. They're usually pretty similar, but it's 10 plus whatever your armor is, plus your dexterity bonus. So in this case, you're wearing freebooter armor, and it gives you a pretty hefty bonus to both. Some characters and classes specialize in a little bit more, but for the most part, they'll generally be even.
Okay.
Let's see.
One quick question about the grenade thrown at me. Instead of
Yes.
diving out of the way, do I have the option of kicking it back?
Yes. I'd have to look up the rules for it.
Well, isn't there
There's a feat for
feat
it.
for deflect?
Yeah, well, there's deflect range attacks, but no, there's straight up a feat for...
Yeah, I'm trying to deflect it with my feet.
Funny.
Athletics.
In this case, I think it's actually called like pull the pin or whatever. But there's a specific
Oh.
like training that you can do. So that
There's already a Deadpool. By
How
the
do you
way,
get
where
good at doing
people are
that?
betting on when Flurf will destroy the galaxy.
Great.
We've got 100 episodes and 25 episodes.
Okay.
Wait, what?
We've derailed the story every 25 episodes on average.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every 25 episodes, something destroys the campaign, and I have to go rewrite it.
Yeah.
So.
But the last time was the most catastrophic, which I suppose, are you going to be doing a recap, Wander? Or,
I will. Sort of.
or is it going to be one of those things where we're going to
Nah,
have
this
to
is-
explain to Flurf?
this truly is going to
Or
be
we
kind of an
can't. We don't want to
Or
explain to
not,
Flurf.
or not.
Yeah.
We have to
explain
keep it
to
a
Flurf.
secret.
Yeah.
We
So
have to keep it a secret.
So
Start a new life.
I should probably mention, seeing as this.
I
is
think
tied
we should
for-
do this all from Durf's perspective and only what he knows as the intro character, and it's
Yes.
up to us
Yeah.
whether we choose to reveal these things.
Yeah.
and
No,
that
that's
sounds
true.
like a bad
This-
idea.
Oh,
That's
you guys and your
true.
secrets.
This is going to be a first episode on YouTube.
Yeah, this is a new series.
Do you think this is some sort of
Effectively.
clubhouse? This is my spaceship.
So
Don't tell your secrets here.
you guys can reveal as much as you want. There will be crossover bits. I will have asides where like Elaryn, Drez, and Greg, you will have specific things that have happened to you as a result of the events of the previous campaign. But for the most part, this will be not told from Flurf's perspective, but remember that one member of the party doesn't know everything, and so up to you how much you want to share. And also, this does include other NPCs as well. You guys are relatively unknown until you become known. So anyway, there's one last thing I should probably mention. Actually, a couple of things for you, Durf, seeing as we're looking at your character.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you scroll down, you can see your armor section. Do you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so you have freebooter armor on. There's your bonuses. Your max dex is 6. ACP doesn't matter. Type is light. And you've got 3 things below that. Those are augments. Weapons and armor have slots in this game. And I'm not going to rules lawyer this too hard. But so I've slotted 3 things in for you. So you've got a force field that gives you 15 extra HP and recovers 4 per round. So try and remember that, but if you forget, it's okay. It just means you take more damage. Because I'm not going to be able to remember that for you. But eventually, hopefully you'll remember it.
Okay.
But so beyond that, you also have a very limited jetpack that lets you fly 60 feet per round. Oh, right, I should probably explain how rounds work in a bit. I guess we'll do it now. Rounds are 6 seconds. Each round in combat is effectively your turn. You get 2 actions, usually attack and move, or move and attack. And you can do some other things too. So in this case, you could fly instead, but it's real slow and real clunky, and people can shoot at you real easy. But if you do need to fly somewhere, you can do it for about 100 minutes. And then you run out of charge, and you have to recharge your whole armor set. And you also have infrared vision, so you can see in the dark.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Let's see. Scrolling down a little bit more, you have an initiative thing. This is actually important. I'm kind of shocked it's all the way down here. I guess it doesn't really matter. But sometimes I'll ask you guys to roll for initiative. This
Flag.
Well, yeah. So, what the shit? How?
Why me?
19.03.
What?
What the fuck? Okay. All right. What?
Maybe they did a thing that eliminates ties.
Oh, tiebreaker.
A tiebreaker.
Oh, that's actually really cool. I like that. Okay, I was just like 0.03? But no, that actually makes a lot more sense. Okay, so initiative is when you act in combat. So you guys all just rolled initiative. Durf, you rolled a 19. Chelle rolled a 1.
Fallen flat on my face.
Yeah, so Chelle tripped. And then Bird and Keith are kind of slow. So you would go first in this initiative order, and we'd set up a little chart to see, and so you'd be able to pull off the first shot and so on and so forth. So whenever combat happens, you're going to want to probably scroll down to the initiative button and get ready to press that, because that's how I know. That's how I know when you get to take your turn. And then if you scroll down a little bit more, these are your feats and special abilities. I have not filled this in completely. You have an incomplete character. I will task you with some homework to research what mechanic tricks and feats you want for your character. I've given you a couple, but you really should actually look into these and kind of determine what you want.
Knowing our luck, we're going to tie the tiebreaker.
Yeah, we are, yeah. But so Durf, your character specifically gets a +4 bonus to computers and engineering on top of his normal ranks. Your character is rather good at both of those things. You can hack things from 60 feet away. So computers, robots. You can fix the engines from 60 feet away. No idea how. But it's in your wheelhouse. Yeah, Durf kinesis. You can also you can hack androids, drones, robots, and mechanical beings. So if you're being attacked by a sentry turret, you could potentially hack it.
Okay.
And cause it to, if it rolls low enough, you can actually mind control it. So below that is 6 mechanic tricks. Those are the mechanic tricks that I didn't feel like filling out. If you want to look at the chart while we're kind of faffing around later, like when it's not your turn, that might be worth looking at. Otherwise, do it between. Toughness just gives you 1 extra stamina per level. I've already factored that in. Same thing with weapon focus. And then the last one is Technomantic Dabbler. I gave you 1 feat, which is specifically you have 3 spells that you can cast. So you can heal objects for 1d4 HP every round as much as you want. So say if somebody breaks your gun, you can magically fix it. And you can also cast Token Spell, which is the most open-ended spell ever, but effectively if you want to color your hair blue or pink or taste like apples instead of grape, that's what this spell is for. And you can also do like a bunch of other things. So if you have like a really, really basic non-combat spell that you think you could maybe pull off,
I want to make the beds in my ship.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely what this can do. You can lift like I think 20 pounds very slowly, make the beds from 20 feet away. And then the last thing you can cast is Life Bubble, which more or less makes it so you can breathe in space for 24 hours. You and up to 12 other people. Or 11 other people.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's kind of broken. House rules, you can't use it to like go inside like a volcano and be like, yeah, the air's fine in here. That would be pushing it a little bit.
Anyway. Okay.
So that's pretty much an overview of kind of how things work and your character. I don't care about encumbrance, so I'm turning that off. There's an inventory section, so if you get items, add them to that, please. I'm not going to remember what I give you, and I'm not going to remember what it does after a couple of sessions. So please,
I will
be
try.
proactive about those things. Usually I'm pretty upfront about what things do, or, you know, you have the opportunity to try and figure it out. But if you just throw it in your bag, I'm going to forget about it. Raz. And I think that's it. Shall we get started?
Oh boy.
You were talking
I'm
about
excited.
Durf hacking, so I started streaming the NCIS video of them, like 2 people hacking on one keyboard.
Alright, now just Photoshop Flurf's face onto that and we're good. Alright, so that's it for episode 0. Not a very big one, not a very long one. Just figured I'd put this up as kind of an introduction to what's going on. Obviously, you could kind of see in the background what the maps are going to look like, at least for a little while. I'm reverting back to a more early Grave of Man style, and I'm going to try and make some higher res but purely top-down assets, and really try and take a leaf out of FTL's book, because I was killing myself on map design last time, and I think I've kind of learned my lesson, if you have seen Grave of Man, because I made these really, really nice maps, and they got kind of blown up, so it'd be a lot easier. It's a lot easier for me to just make a bunch of semi-generic assets and go from there, at least for me. Anyway, so I guess that's pretty much it for episode 0. There's a ton more I could talk about, but there's a ton that I'm going to talk about over the course of this campaign. I guess in terms of announcements and whatnot, news, and this will be repeated in the first episode, but obviously if you've never seen this before or you've kind of forgotten, there's a Reddit for Grave of Man, and you know, as part of that, Shattered Planets, and that'll probably just be the primary Reddit where everything goes. So if you want to discuss, if you want to suggest items, if you want to contribute art assets, if you saw Grave of Man, I took a couple of like druids and trees and stuff like that, and so if you guys want to draw some space pirates that I include, awesome. Obviously it has to be in 100% your stuff, not copied from somewhere else or lifted from somewhere else, because that would be bad. But you know, I love to see fan submissions here and there. And also, of course, if you guys want to contribute to the discussion in a more on Discord, I will also have a link to Discord below. Both of these. It's reddit.com/r/graveofman. That's easy enough, and I don't have a link on hand for Discord in memory, but there will be one in the description below. So if you want to come hang out with the community, there you go. And I guess apart from that, I will at some point, hopefully within the next month, get all of the old podcast going again. You know, get all the old episodes out and start getting the Shattered Planet episodes out as well, because I let that drop and I feel bad about that. But I guess that's enough rambling. I guess I'll see you guys on episode 1 of Shattered Planets. Thanks for watching.